ADHD and emotional sensitivity. Why do I feel so much? Feeling everything all at once. There are many things people associate with ADHD. Forgetfulness, restlessness, distraction. But one of the quieter, less talked about pieces, feeling everything, deeply, immediately, sometimes overwhelmingly. Today we're talking about emotional sensitivity and how it shows up when you live with ADHD. Before we begin, I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical advice, just lived experience, reflection, and things I've learned along the way. Because emotional intensity isn't always visible, but it's very real. Welcome. Come on in, get comfy, and let's sit for a while. The volume dial that skips settings. For some of us, emotions don't gently increase, they surge. A small comment can feel big, a slightly sharp tone can land heavily. A perceived shift in someone's mood can ripple through your whole system. It's not that we want to overreact, it's that the volume dial doesn't move from 3 to 4, it jumps to 8. And by the time we've realised it's loud, we're already inside it. Rejection feels personal. Even mild rejection can feel magnified. A late reply, a cancelled plan, a shorter than usual message. Someone looked distracted while you're talking. Your brain can immediately spin a story. Did I say something wrong? Are they upset? Have I misread the situation? This isn't drama. It's sensitivity mixed with fast processing. Your brain fills in gaps quickly, sometimes too quickly. The deep empathy. Here's the beautiful side. Emotional sensitivity often means empathy runs deep. You notice subtle shifts. You feel when someone's energy changes. You pick up on tension others don't register. You care. You don't skim the surface of emotions. You sit in them. That makes you compassionate, attuned, present. But it can also be exhausting because you're absorbing more than you realise. The "why did that stay with me" moment. Have you ever had a small interaction linger for days? Something someone said casually, a tone, a look, and you replay it, analyse it, feel it again. ADHD brains are good at replaying. We don't just remember events, we relive them, which means small things can echo longer than we'd like. Crying at adverts, again. Yes, we've mentioned it before, but it fits here too. Emotional sensitivity means you might cry at adverts, animal videos, songs you weren't expecting to affect you, kind gestures between strangers. Your nervous system responds quickly, and sometimes that feels embarrassing. But it's also evidence of something beautiful. You're moved. You are not numb. You are responsive to humanity. When sensitivity turns inwards. The hardest part isn't always external emotion. It's internal self-criticism. Because when you feel deeply, you can also criticise deeply. You can replay your own words, analyse your own tone, wonder if you were too much, too quiet, too emotional, too intense, and that internal dialogue can become heavy. It's not weakness. We are often told sensitivity equals fragility. It doesn't. Sensitivity is responsiveness, it's awareness, it's depth. The challenge is not the feeling, it's learning how to regulate the volume. And that's a skill, not a personality flaw. When it feels like too much. Emotional sensitivity isn't just about feeling deeply, it's about how quickly it can tip into overwhelm, and that overwhelm can look different for everyone. For some it's tears, for others it's irritation, and for others it's shutting down completely. The overwhelm wave. Sometimes it's not even one big thing, it's layers. Noise, too many decisions, an awkward interaction, a forgotten task, a slightly critical comment. Individually, manageable. Together, a tidal wave. And suddenly you feel you need to step away, to be quiet, to reset. Not because you're dramatic, but because your nervous system is saturated. The too much narrative. Many women with ADHD grow up hearing subtle messages. You're too sensitive. You're overreacting. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Over time, those messages settle in, and instead of saying, "That really affected me," we say, "I shouldn't feel this way." We start policing our own emotions, minimising them, invalidating them before anyone else has the chance. That can be more damaging than the original moment. Rejection sensitivity in midlife. There's something particular about rejection sensitivity in midlife. You might think it would fade with age, but sometimes it becomes more layered. You've had more experiences, more relationships, more subtle disappointments. So when something happens, it can brush against old memories. It's rarely just about today. It's about a pattern your brain recognises instantly, and that recognition can feel sharp. The shutdown. Sometimes sensitivity doesn't look emotional at all. It looks like quiet, withdrawal, flatness. You go from expressive to still, from engaged to distant. Not because you don't care, but because you care so much your system needs protection. It's a pause, a way of recalibrating. Learning to regulate, not suppress. Here's the key shift. The goal isn't to feel less, it's to regulate better. Instead of, "I shouldn't feel this," try, "I feel this, what do I need right now?" Sometimes the answer is space, fresh air, water, a walk, reassurance, a good night's sleep. Emotional intensity passes more quickly when it's acknowledged instead of fought. The kind inner voice. One of the biggest changes I've made is this, changing the tone of my inner voice. Instead of, "Why are you like this?" I try, "Of course that's affected you." Instead of, "You're overreacting," I try, "That landed strongly. Let's breathe." Sensitivity with self-compassion feels very different from sensitivity with shame. Midlife perspective. Midlife has given me something helpful. Perspective. I can now see the pattern. The surge will come. It will feel intense. It will pass. It always passes. The emotion might be big, but it isn't permanent. That knowledge softens the experience and makes it more manageable. The gift inside the intensity. It took me a long time to stop seeing my sensitivity as a flaw. For years I thought if I could just feel less, if I could just react less, if I could just be less affected, life would be easier. But somewhere along the way, I realised something important. The same wiring that makes emotions loud also makes life vivid. The depth is real. Emotional sensitivity means you don't skim joy, you feel it. You don't half love, you love fully. You don't notice beauty casually, You're moved by it. The intensity doesn't only apply to discomfort, it applies to connection, to creativity, to empathy, to meaning. You don't experience life in grayscale. You experience it in all its full, beautiful technicolor. The empathy advantage. Because you feel deeply, you often understand deeply. You notice shifts in tone. You sense when someone's "I'm fine" isn't fine. You catch the small things. That makes you compassionate, attuned, safe for others. People open up around you because they can feel that you feel. That's not a weakness. That is emotional intelligence. Choosing safe spaces. One of the most important lessons I've learned is this. Sensitivity thrives in the right environment. In safe spaces, sensitivity becomes strength. In harsh environments, it can make me feel vulnerable. So part of maturity is choosing people who are steady, spaces that feel calm, conversations that feel respectful. You don't have to force yourself to tolerate chaos just to prove you're resilient. You can design a life that feels regulated. You are not too much. If you've ever been told you're too much, too emotional, too intense, too reactive, too sensitive, I want to gently offer this. You may have simply been in rooms that were too small for your depth. Not everyone knows what to do with big feelings, but big feelings are not a defect. They are capacity. Capacity to care, capacity to connect, capacity to experience life richly. Regulation, not erasure. The goal isn't to erase your sensitivity, it's to support it, to learn what soothes your nervous system, to recognise when you're saturated, to pause before the volume climbs too high, to forgive yourself when it does. Regulation is a skill, and skills can be learned. Midlife softness. There's something tender about midlife and sensitivity. You've seen enough of the world to know it's complex. You've carried enough to know feelings don't make you weak. You've likely survived things that required enormous strength. So if you still feel deeply, that's not immaturity. That's aliveness. If you live with ADHD and emotional sensitivity, you are not broken. You are not dramatic. You are not too much. You may feel things quickly. You may feel them intensely. But you also bring warmth into rooms. You notice beauty others overlook. You care in ways that are rare. Treat that sensitivity gently. Protect it. Support it. Because inside that intensity is something powerful. Thank you for sitting in this softer space with me. May your feelings feel valid. May your nervous system feel safe. May you never apologise for having a big, beautiful emotional range. Take gentle care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.